The moment Zainab slapped the documents onto the table, her eyes burning with disbelief, I knew my carefully built life was about to come crashing down. "Who are you, really?" she demanded, her voice trembling. I opened my mouth to speak, but the truth was a knife in my throat, refusing to come out. "My name is Ibrahim, and if there's one thing I've learned in my 32 years on this earth, it's that love can make you do things you never thought you were capable of. Things you'd never forgive anyone else for. Things like lying over and over again, until the lies become so tangled you can't see the way out." I met Zainab at a wedding 2 years ago in Kano. She was everything I wasn't: confident, ambitious, and from a wealthy family. While I worked as a mechanic in a small garage, she managed her father's chain of boutique hotels. She was stunning in her bright blue lace dress, laughing with friends under the fairy lights strung across the garden. I stood on the sidelines, convinced someone like her would never notice someone like me, but she did. It started with a casual conversation when she asked if I could help jumpstart her car. One thing led to another, and before I knew it, we were exchanging phone numbers. I didn't think anything serious would come of it, but Zainab had a way of making me feel seen, like I mattered. The first lie came the day she asked about my job. "Are you into cars?" she asked over the phone one evening. "Sort of," I said, hesitating. "I work in automobile sales." It wasn't technically untrue, I did work with cars. But I wasn't selling them, I was fixing them in a dusty garage on the outskirts of town. I told myself it didn't matter. I wasn't lying to hurt her. I was lying because I didn't want her to think less of me. I was lying because I wanted to be worthy of her. As our relationship grew, so did my lies. I couldn't bring Zainab to the one-room apartment I shared with my cousin, so I told her I was staying with family temporarily while my house underwent renovations. When she asked about my family, I painted a picture of middle-class stability, glossing over the fact that my parents were retired farmers living in a rural village. Each time she asked me a question, I tailored my answers to fit the version of myself I thought she wanted to see. And she believed me. Zainab was everything I'd ever dreamed of. She was kind, intelligent, and driven. She made me laugh and challenged me to think bigger. Being with her felt like standing in the sun after years of rain. But every time she smiled at me with complete trust in her eyes, a knot of guilt tightened in my chest. The first crack appeared 6 months into our relationship when Zainab's brother, Khaled, invited me to join their family for dinner. Her family's mansion was a world I'd only seen in movies: marble floors, imported furniture, and a dining room that could seat 20 people. Khaled, a lawyer with a sharp tongue and an even sharper eye, seemed suspicious of me from the start. "So, Ibrahim," he said, pouring himself a glass of wine, "Zainab tells us you're in automobile sales. What's the market like these days?" I stumbled over my words, trying to sound convincing. "It's, competitive but rewarding." He raised an eyebrow. "Which dealership do you work for?" I felt the blood drain from my face. "It's, a smaller, independent operation." Zainab's father, a stern man with a booming voice, chimed in. "Small businesses are the backbone of this country." "Good for you, young man." Khaled didn't look convinced, but he let it go. For the rest of the evening, I felt like I was walking on a tightrope, one wrong step away from plunging into the truth. As our relationship progressed, Zainab began talking about marriage. The thought thrilled and terrified me. How could I marry her without her finding out the truth? I considered coming clean, but every time I tried, the fear of losing her stopped me. Instead, I doubled down on the lies. I borrowed money to buy expensive clothes and rented a car to keep up appearances. I even fabricated a fake LinkedIn profile to back up my story about working in automobile sales. But lies have a way of catching up with you. It all unraveled one fateful evening. Zainab had stopped by my office unannounced, expecting to surprise me. Instead, she found me at the garage, covered in grease, working on an old Toyota. When I got home that evening, she was waiting for me, holding an envelope. Inside were photos of me at the garage, copies of debt notices from the loan I'd taken out to fund my lies, and printouts of my fake LinkedIn profile. "Is this who you are?" she asked, her voice breaking. "How much of what you've told me is even real?" I tried to explain, to justify my lies as acts of love. But she wasn't having it. You didn't lie to protect me, Ibrahim, she said. You lied to protect yourself. And now I don't know who you are. Zainab ended things that night, and I couldn't blame her. I had built our relationship on a foundation of lies, and when it crumbled, it took everything with it. In the weeks that followed, I lost more than just Zainab. Word of my deceit spread through our social circles, and I became a pariah. Even my cousin moved out, unable to deal with the constant whispers. Looking back, I realized the lies weren't just about Zainab. They were about me, about my insecurities and my fear of not being enough. I thought I could build a better version of myself through lies, but all I built was a prison. It's been a year since Zainab walked out of my life. I've moved back to the village, helping my parents with their farm while trying to piece myself back together. I don't know if I'll ever find love again, but I do know this: the next time, I'll let the truth be enough, because love built on lies isn't love, it's just a beautiful illusion waiting to shatter.